makes sense. Oh, by the way, guys, we've got a game on our hands. Let's maybe stop talking about other players and their playstyles, because here is game number 1 of the main Nova Cup. It is SSP and Tjuvis versus Booboy and Slickins, and right away, those of you with a keen ear will have heard the Fiesta pick up there from Tjuvis. So I'm excited already.
Yeah, it is exciting. However, we need to point out that Fiesta is tricky. There is a lot of problem associated with it. And yes, we do have the Sakura here, the new unit
Oh,
coming out from Booboy.
baby, when you move like this, you make a man want to speak Spanish. Shakura, Shakura, let's go. How do you think about the new unit, Shadow? Do you like it?
I think that people were too quick to judge it at first. There are clear advantages of having it, and if you are having a heavy income playstyle, can really suit a heavy scaling, because you do get 20 value approximately worth of stats every wave. So it is very good in itself, and must be played every game like a bounty hunter, stuff like that.
Look at this little animation. I never knew that she could dance like this.
Yeah, I mean, always turning around.
Yeah.
But yeah, Sakura is indeed a very interesting start. But we need to focus on other stuff here. Slicken does not receive on wave 1 and has a Pilgrim here. Not the best unit on wave 2.
I think another good thing here for Tjuvis and SSP is that Tjuvis is playing Fiesta, receiving from the Shakura, and it's going to be very long waves, while Tjuvis has a big worker advantage. So we'll have to see what pays off. Is it going to be Sakura's kind of endless scaling that's going to pay off, or is it going to be Tjuvis's early worker lead, early income lead that's going to pay off?
And that is a very nice Fiesta wave 1 right now for Tjuvis. And also, important to point out, SSP playing the Bounty Hunter. It is his best performing unit, and as an opener, and as a unit overall as well. So it will be interesting to see. Tjuvis does realize the Pilgrim is quite weak here on wave 2, and Slicken going for a Steed in the split here.
Interesting. I mean, he didn't have many choices, and there is a DT incoming here from Tjuvis. I think even with Slickins being on very high value there, 235 on wave 2, he might still leak because his units are so bad here.
Yeah, and Booboy missing the Snell just before the wave goes, and so this means Tjuvis is not punished, but looks like Tjuvis did build a bit too much. It's not going to leak here on wave 2.
I think he wanted to be punished, right? He probably wanted to leak, because a snail wouldn't have leaked him too big. It would have been a pretty good Fiesta.
But looking back at the leak here, at the Sen, there is no leak from Slicken here on this wave.
And here we go, Shakura getting bigger and bigger. There's 2 stacks already.
And I like to see the aggression from Slicken, realizing that on this wave he is pretty strong. Still need to be careful, and he is adding some more DPS behind it.
Yeah, true. Alright, we've got 6 workers on both Tjuvis and Slickins, 5 on Booboy and SSP. Booboy already has 43 gold, by the way, from the Shakura.
Yes, and he is 5 workers, so he is not falling too far behind. Also, it is interesting to see that it is a missed position here from Booboy, not doing an even split here with the Peewee. It could have been lethal to a DT.
What I had a fair bit of success with playing Sakura is doing the Pixie with an even split on the right hand side.
Yes.
Because then it always dies, you always get the bonus Mythium, and it pretty much keeps the Sakura alive as well, so it's worked pretty nicely. Look at this though, Tjuvis on 8 workers already before wave 4 even starts. That's pretty solid.
Yeah, but I think the punish is going to come here, and I don't think it would be a small leak here from Tjuvis.
And if SSP adds the snail as well, it means both DTs will go left into the Sakura, and that's going to be a really solid tank line against him. But SSP looks like he's not sending the snail. That's a mistake.
I mean, this Thunderer just changes stuff and brings every DT on the side of Sakura.
But both DTs... yeah, okay. That seems to be working pretty fine. But now the Wanderer dies pretty quickly. The
But
thing is, it
that
might
split
just be
is
enough.
amazing, though.
I mean,
Yeah,
he's
that split was amazing.
475 value, right? Like, if he's leaking an 80 send with 475 value, then that's pretty bad. But meanwhile, Tjuvis, 75% leak to the DT snail from Booboy. I mean, sure, he's got the 8 workers, but he's playing very greedy there.
Yeah, we need to point out that yes, it is Fiesta, so the leak is a little bit less punishing for him.
Mm-hmm.
However, I do think it comes back to what Slickin has leaked here, 33%. I think it just evens out a little bit. However, Slickin did have the bonus income early on, and that's already shown here, like 42 income on Tjuvis and 56 on Slickin.
Yeah, that's pretty nice. But now, though, with Tjuvis leaking so much against the small send, he's given his opponents a chance to catch up. So Booboy, with the very slow start there on the Sakura, not only caught up, but actually ahead. He's ahead in value. He's got the same number of workers. This is going to start going a little bit out of control if Booboy isn't checked.
Yeah, and SSP sending the Fiend here on wave 5 onto the Sakura just enables Booboy to prepare 7 and 8.
Yeah,
2 waves, you're very scared with Sakura, and now with this Fiend send, it's just not as punishing.
I mean, he can just full shift on 6 now if he wants to. He's not in any pressure at all.
Yep. And the DT Snail here, resend onto Tjuvis, looks like it's gonna be working out, but the leak is not that big.
Wow. Well,
but the problem is that
left.
SSP is leaking as well.
So the way they started this game with SSP starving Booboy a little bit, I thought it was just kind of the old playstyle that SSP and Aviator did, where SSP would pretty much enable Aviator, and it looked like that's what they were doing here. But then this resend on 5 kind of looks like a different strategy then.
But look at Booboy here, 10 workers with the Sakura now.
Yeah, that's scary.
And
He
keeping the
doesn't
pressure
have
on the Fiesta
anything
player.
really for 7 though. Like, his only answer on 7, I guess, is boosting a couple of veterans.
I dislike here the Ranger.
He doesn't need to build
I
it,
don't understand the logic. However, it would have been much better to shift here for the Disciple instead.
Yeah. And Slickins is getting a send here, but he was able to shift on 5, and he actually gets this Avenger out on 6. So he's completely fine here. And with this send, Slickins actually can just afford to full push here because he's not under any threat whatsoever on wave 7.
Yeah, the full DTs is just feed towards Slickin.
Yeah.
And the resend here, that's the danger of having bounty hunters on both sides. It's like you have similar weak waves, you have the cat on SSP.
This is surviving though. He's got very good focus there on SSP's lane. Very, very good focus. Actually
Yeah, and
doing
so
very well.
we'll see SSP holding here.
And Tjuvis, I mean, that is a pretty solid Fiesta league. It's only 2 creeps and a brute. Never mind,
but
okay. SSP is not holding, and with 640 value leaking to an 80 send, I mean, of course, it's bounty hunters, so it's kind of normal, but not good for you.
But everybody passing the double-digit workers now. We did have SSP saving up, so the long wave does benefit him, and he might be able to punish a Sakura now. But I mean, missing one wave. Missing
Wave
one
7.
wave for the Sakura is not too bad though.
We have a Sakura with 6 stacks here on Booboy, so far it is the perfect Sakura. And we'll just have to see whether or not her hips are lying.
What is the purpose of that theory there?
I don't know. I think... I mean, it's going to destroy his split because the entire wave is going to go towards that point.
Yeah, and he's not boosting it either, so I mean...
I think not boosting is a mistake there because he
I mean,
could have
does he
not
know
built the
something that
T-Wing
we don't?
and the 20 gold. I mean, look, he has 930 value here, but a lot of that is kind of fake value with the Sakura. And let's just see, it looks like this is going to be a pretty big leap.
I'm not sure I understand the lack of split here. I mean, if he had the split, it would have been a little bit better. But
Well, the
not
Brutes have
having a
just come
split,
to party here.
I guess.
The Brutes have just said, oh baby, when you move like that, you make a woman go mad. And here they come, 69% leak there on Booboy. Tjuvis leaking 12%, that is a perfect Fiesta leak there.
Yeah,
One blob,
so now
one sludge. He's very happy with that. 14 workers there on Mr. Tjuvis.
we talked about the early game not being perfect for him in terms of Fiesta, but the more the games go on, the more gold you get from those small leaks, and so he might be able to come back just with that Pro Fiesta leak from Waves to Waves.
I want to point something out though. If you look at the win percentage chances at the top there, so Jules is saying that he's pretty heavily favouring Boo Boy and Slickins. He's giving them a 58% edge against SSP and Tjuvis, which is pretty solid this early on in the game. So we'll have to see if that prediction comes right, or if SSP and Tjuvis are able to do something to bring this one back.
I do not agree with those numbers, especially in a game with Sakura, because it is based on the value present on the board as well. And we all know that there is bonus value included into the Sakura. There's of course the King HP, but with the Kingpins coming up, and the Pro Leagues from Tjuvis from Wave to Waves, I do think that we will probably see more towards a 50-50 right now.
Yeah, is this going to be a leak here with the Kingpin against 7 snails? It is?
Yes, that is the expected thing, because Kingpin is not fully stacked.
Sakura is down though, so that's good. They at least managed to deny that 20 gold value from Boo Boy, which is something. And SSP will hold here, so SSP now able to push. But Tjuvis, he's on 18 workers. Boo Boy 17 though, he's oh, Boo Boy pushes up to 18 as well.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about a high worker game in the game pre-show here with Slickin in the game, and I mean that's what we see, high worker game here. That's probably 12 more workers than my opponent normally have on this wave.
Last time I played against you, I had 4 workers on wave 8 because you didn't send me for the entire game until I got 420 on wave 8.
Imagine sending in a game.
Not that I'm bitter or anything, you know, I haven't held on to that memory for about 2 weeks and still cry about it at night. Definitely not. Definitely not.
But we have Brutes here on 9. And I think we will see Tjuvis leaking again here. It looks like to me that Boo Boy is leaking. He did not realize it was Fiesta.
Yeah, but if he leaks in big, then it's still worth even through the Fiesta, right? And SSP, I mean, SSP is pretty much on value there with 1120, but his units are so bad, he didn't make the Kingpin. Yeah.
Does not have the Kingpin. Even if he has the Kingpin here, that's going to be a pretty big leak.
Yeah.
I mean, if it's less than 40%, he's still fine. But
63 there on Tjuvis, and SSP, that's a 52 as well. This is 13 creeps reaching the king. They only have 1 king attack upgrade and 60% HP. This is starting to look pretty dicey for SSP and Tjuvis.
Yeah, but right now, they are still saving now. They are still saving. Wave 10 is coming. There is Kingpins coming up for SSP. And there is counter-attack in the game.
Okay, so SSP should be able to hold this wave for sure with his Kingpin now online. I mean, the 4 eyes from SSP is good, but Boo Boy's on 1600 value wave 10. And the 4 eyes does nothing to keep the Daphnes off of the king.
Yeah, I think this is a little bit of a mistake here from SSP. Yes, the 4-eye is good if it reaches the king. However, you need to reach that king. Because if you don't, well, it's pretty much useless. And the same thing can be said from the Centaur here.
Yeah? I mean, the Centaur... I really don't like the Centaur, actually.
Centaur is not
don't
tanking.
like it. Like,
Centaur is not tanking.
It's a splash damage unit, so he sent it because he wants some pierce damage on the Sovereign, which I understand. But it's a splash damage unit, so as soon as this happens, it's just dealing really suboptimal DPS against the Sovereign, and that allows him to hold. If we look at Boo Boy, sorry, so he is going to leak, but he's leaking a half HP 4 eyes, which is just... it's nothing.
Yeah, but it's not over. There's one thing I want to see from Tjuvis and SSP here, and it's Tjuvis taking counterattack. I want him to full push.
Actually, you would think that counterattack with Fiesta must synergize pretty well. I've got to see what Tjuvis is able to do with this.
He is pushing, he is pushing, he is full pushing, and I predict a counterattack here.
He has
There
to.
you go.
Right? He has to. He does. Okay, good. Well, this
So
is
the play
interesting
here,
now.
yeah, the play here would be to leak wave 11, which is possible with his current build.
Yeah.
And either choose 12 or 13. Looking at the Avenger though, I do believe it will be wave 12 that is chosen from SSP and Tjuvis. And
It has
with
to
the
be, right?
60
But look,
extra Mythium, that's gonna be a lot of pressure.
just look at the values though on Boo Boy and Slickins. They've stayed super high value after the leaks last wave. So even despite just receiving the big sends, they chose not to full push. And Boo Boy's on 1800 value, and Slickin's the same.
Yeah, that's because they know that Slickin is weak on 12 here, so they want to try and protect that wave 12 as much as they can. But now with the counter attack, we'll see if it is enough here, because Tjuvis is still 29 workers here.
I mean, that's impressive. He has to leak here, though, to get value out of his counterattack.
Yeah, he is leaking. It's gonna be...
Is he, though?
I mean...
I don't think he is.
Oh, the Dark Mage. The Dark Mage is just
that's-
too powerful with the Kingpin here.
That's really bad. He needed to leak. He needed
There's
to
two.
leak.
There's
Oh,
two creeps
there's two. I
remaining.
thought there was only one. Oh, is it?
Is it only one leak?
But this
No,
is
no,
just
it's
the
two.
perfect Fiesta leak.
With counter attack, that's the bonus gold and the bonus Mythium as well.
Yeah. He does need to be able to hold something on 12 though, because Boo Boy and
Yeah,
Slickins are
they
going
force
for a
the
full
12.
set.
They force the 12. He's going for a second
Another
Kingpin here.
Kingpin,
There's
okay.
two Kingpins.
SSP,
we see the same from
Can you do the
SSP?
same, please? You have to do the same. You need to hold here.
You have to read that they might go for it. SSP.
SSP, come on. Ian build, he's got 15 seconds. What are you doing, SSP? What are you doing,
He's going
SSP?
for the King Claw. He's
No,
going
I
for
don't
his
like
King
the
Claw
King Claw.
instead.
Oh, he's greedy.
But we do have the double harden, double KP on Tjuvis. Looks like they want to aim towards protecting Tjuvis on 13 with the King Claws on SSP. Let's see if it is enough
This is
though.
a big send here against Slickins, the 620 send.
He's gonna lick everything. He doesn't have any pierce damage.
We have a quick look over here. Boo Boy is doing pretty well, I have to say.
SSP's holding.
SSP holding, that's huge. Tjuvis does leak. Slickins leaks big, and Boo Boy holds as well. Oh, Shakura!
And that's a double veterans, but it won't be able to save the Sakuras here. But do the Kings survive on the other side though? They don't have any King ups. There's still the Ogre going on.
I think they survive, but they're just so low. And this was their big play as well, right? They needed to get more done here than just 30% king damage.
Yeah, but we did see a leak from Tjuvis, so that means more gold and more Mythium as well. So a lot of resources coming in. So he does have extra pressure. And I want him to leak here again. I think he will aim for that. He doesn't have a front line here. And I do think he will be leaking here. Saying that, maybe not. I don't know.
I mean, he's very high value, right? But some of that
I
is
think he
king
shifts.
value.
I think he needs to shift here.
Going for straight for the...
I think that's a mistake. I think that's a mistake because you want to try and force maybe the 14 or the 15 here.
you want your counterattack value as well, right? Like, the perfect thing for Tjuvis is to leak one creep every wave.
Yeah. We saw it on 13, and we did see the bigger leak with the sand, of course. That's pretty hard to just leak one creep and then recover everything.
The problem is with both Fiesta and counterattack is that you need to do that kind of brinkmanship. But how can you do that when you have 6% king HP, right?
Yeah, and you do have here the double harden coming in from Tjuvis, and
No
Boo Boy at
send for
32
Boo Boy and
workers.
Slickins. Yeah. I gotta say, Boo Boy's made the Sakura look pretty good this game.
Yeah, I must admit that some sense from SSP was a little bit questionable.
Yeah, like the
Maybe
Fiend on
felt a
fire,
little
for
bit
example.
constrained with the cartel.
Mhm.
Like, oh, I need the income to scale up. So I'm not sure if the early game decision making from SSP was optimal against Sakura. I mean, it's a new unit, so it's pretty hard to gauge exactly when to send.
And now SSP is just quite far behind the other players in the game. With his cartel kind of backfiring, he was able to just pretty much feed Boo Boy through the early game.
Yeah,
There's
and
big
we do
sends
see
all
the
around
sends
though.
on. Yeah, the sends are all around. However, we don't see much answers for SSP and Tjuvis. Well, for Buboy and Slikin, we do have a lot of veterans coming in, a lot of Pekasai, so a lot of answers, to be honest. And I do think that we will see the game end here, despite the win percentage being somehow at 45% for SSP and Tjuvis. Not quite sure where that came from.
I mean, Tjuvis is going to be nearly on value when he finishes building.
I mean, nearly on value. Is it enough though? He has 2D hardened Mudmans.
The Mudman deharden is irrelevant on 15. It really doesn't matter. It's a small amount of value for a unit that's bad on the wave anyway. It doesn't have that much impact. If it was Golems, maybe a bit of a different story, but 2 Mudmen is not the end of the world.
The Centaur sense against Slikin did make sense in theory. However, the lifesteal on the Sovereign really makes the whole difference.
But they both leak.
And
SSP and
the
Tjuvis are both leaking. Even with the 4k value of Tjuvis, this is game over.
yeah, and everybody's leaking, but
Everybody's leaking, but it's not a problem for Boo Boy and Slickins, and it is a big problem for SSP and Tjuvis.
yes, and so we do have game 1 here, going to the no Workee, no problem.
Oh, Workee, no problem indeed. And I'm starting to feel it's right. The Sakura are really doing work there for Boo Boy this game.
Oh, okay, well, okay, my profile will be bugged for eternity now because I just leveled up while spectating, so...
Unlucky.
So this means the game won't realize if I'm 36 or 37, so yeah.
I mean, Tjuvis with his Fiesta, like, he kind of... I suppose he couldn't really have built any less onto, but still wasn't able to leak there, didn't leak on 3, and then leaked heavily on 4. That's not the ideal Fiesta start.
The thing is, I think the idea was there for Tjuvis. However, if you want to play Fiesta, you need to be very precise onto when you want to leak. It's not a matter of, okay, I must leak 1 creep every wave. It's like, you want to leak on the wave prior to
Your
where
big
you
send.
want to send.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So even if you leak 100% the wave before you send, you are less punished because you lose less gold, but you have more time just for your send. So those are your crucial moments that you want to try and aim for something. And that's why I said on 13, just shifting here would have been way better for him because that would have made him leak. They have the Ocean Templar Kingpins for 14, and the leak on 13 might bait Boo Boy and Slikin to just send here and then to have a momentum on 15.
Yeah. Yeah, true. I mean, this was a pretty interesting match all around. I enjoyed seeing Boo Boy piloting Sakura. I really enjoyed Tjuvis's Fiesta and counter-attack play. But I think we both agreed that he built too much on 13 and wasn't able to use either of those abilities. So that's it. I mean, there's no way they could have sent on 14, right? So I don't know. It's a really hard call to make because when they're on 6% HP, he just can't afford to play on the edge like that anymore. You can't pro leak when you have 6% HP on your king, right?
Yeah, and that comes out to the early game, like the fact that SSP and Tjuvis have the same kind of play here with the Kingpins and Bounty Hunter scaling.
Yep.
Just the same exact weak waves, and they just exploited that beautifully on Boo Boy and Slikin.
Yeah. Hey, it was a really fun game to watch. I'm hoping we can get a game 3 on the go here. So SSP and Tjuvis, they need to bring this one back. Currently sat at 1-0 for Slickins and Boo Boy, but we definitely want to see a third game in this series. So SSP and Tjuvis, they've got to win one here. And you know what? I'd love to see Tjuvis not be scared and go for the Fiesta again anyway. Like, sure, it wasn't amazing in game 1, but stick with it because Tjuvis, he does this on the ladder all the time. Like, he's a Fiesta main, which I love because he's probably like the only Fiesta main in the top end of the leaderboard. And it's just really great to have some different playstyles that are clearly doing well because, you know, he's Grandmaster, right?
Let's just hope Jules didn't hear you on that.
Is Jules also a Fiesta main?
Yes, yes.
Well, Jules is also not at the top end of the ladder. You know, shots fired, right? But it's true. Your account has been banned from Legion TD2.
Uh-oh. Oh, looks like I'm casting alone.
All right,
Alright.
so it looks like we're about to get into game number 2. I'm wishing good luck to SSP and Tjuvis. I would love to see them tie the series so that we can get a third game on to go. But either way, I think we're going to be in for a fun one. So Shadow, buckle up because here we go.
Yes, and final thoughts on the previous game here. It was very interesting to me that Buboy and Slickin kinda played together, and Buboy did not play to his typical playstyle, so this means it was a bit unpredictable here for the opponent.
Mhm.
And we talked about Slickin playing Cartel. It has been Buboy on the Cartel both games now.
Oh, they're mixing it up. Slickin's on the greed there. And now that we're into the game, I can say that Tjuvis, he has been scared off of his Fiesta. He's now playing Vanilla Greed.
Yeah,
So
but they
the
are.
mental edge is already in favour of Slickins and Booboy. You know, they've
Oh
bullied
no!
Tjuvis
And
off of his favourite start. And
one would
Booboy!
think
Oh!
it is a lock-in Sakura, but it
Oh!
is not. It has been the Cartel Sakura 2 games in a row here.
Absolutely amazing. This is. The hips didn't lie in game 1, so let's see if we can make it 2 in a row there for Sakura. Sakura!
I mean, there's a little problem with his role right now compared to the other one, is that he is lacking some tanks, despite having a literal tank in his role.
Well, the Neko pairs very, very well with the Sakura throughout the early game, right? Because in theory, at least, all of the waves where Sakura is weak, the Neko is strong.
Yeah, but then you expose yourself on untypical waves like a 9 sin, 11 and 12 also because you don't have that fortified or nature tank that's really gonna save you. Yes, you have the King Claw possibility, but it is not the best nature tank.
Oh, and look at this, Tjuvis. He's at least
Yeah.
trying to kind of
And,
pretending to his opponents that he's playing Fiesta again. So that question mark ping comes out straight away from Slickins and Booboy. They're pretty certain he's playing Fiesta again here, which he isn't. So if that's going to influence their playstyle in some way, then
yeah,
maybe
and
Tjuvis is able to get the edge here.
there is another thing here that they need to keep in mind here is that it is paired with a Crusher. And so this means that Tjuvis might that just more emphasized towards the
Yeah.
Fiesta because you run the long ways with the Crusher. And so playing in the mine here, not being predictable with the Mastermind options.
And SSP does go for the 6 workers there with his cash out Bone Crusher start. Slickins, though, he stayed on 4 workers. He's playing very, very scared.
Yeah, because they didn't send on wave 1. They
Yeah.
didn't send on wave 1, so
I
they
mean,
have
it's
to
the
play
right
like this.
play. He has to play like this. It is the correct play for sure, but that's a moral victory already for SSP and Tjuvis, I think.
Okay, we do have the DT coming in from Tjuvis onto the Sakura, and the Sakura will be attacking the DT right now.
I mean, it just holds, right?
Yeah, it just holds.
I think even without the Bone Warrior in the split, I think it still holds.
Not that confident because look at the HP on it right now. It's pretty low, and half of the wave wasn't on it at the start.
Yeah, maybe. It's probably close.
But
SSP
SSP able to have a
is
long
fine.
wave.
But now Slickins, he's 6 workers. Booboy obviously staying a bit lower because he's playing the Sakura, so he wants to be overbuilt
I
there.
mean, it's just because he cannot push. That's the only thing.
Technicalities.
Imagine just looking at the gold that one player has.
That's too advanced for me.
But yeah, I mean, the DT on 2 can work if the opponent is not expecting the DT. And the fact that they didn't sell on wave 1, they were just expecting a 4 descent, especially with the Windhawk. So, despite it being a possibility, just really didn't work out.
And Slickins here with his 6 worker push. I think it might have been too premature. I think the snail might even be enough to leak him here. For some
that's
reason,
the
his
Fire
Bone
Archer.
Crusher not tanking, but enough for
Yeah.
his Fire Archer and his Angler. So both of those units dead.
Yeah,
I think
but
it's
it
just
looks like the
fine,
Crusher
right?
will survive.
Bone Crusher OP. You heard it here first.
I'm sure I heard that before.
You probably heard that. But that was only one snail from SSP, right? If he'd full sent here, this would have been a pretty big leak from Slickins. Look, SSP is still holding on to 76 Mythium there. So you got to
Will it
think
be
he
the
could have
dino?
sent at
Will
least
it
another
be the
40.
dino? It is the dino.
Dino
And I
from
love the dino here.
Yeah, that's solid. So we do see the Bounty Hunter coming out there from Slickins, which is a pretty obvious play when he was already stacked up there. But the Dino just absolutely perfect against this.
Yeah, because the problem is that the Fire Archer here is tanking full. The snub proved that on wave 3.
Yeah.
So this means that the Dino will kill the Fire Archer, meaning the only pierce damage then will be the Bounty Hunter, and it will be on towards the Dino.
Yeah, and the Dino kills a Fire Archer very quickly as well. So he's going to lose so much value from that. I mean, just look at that. The Fire Archer dead before it even casts all of its spells. So the Dino's still alive. All of SSP's units, sorry, Slickins' units dead, apart from the Bounty Hunter, with 100% of the wave still alive. So it's going to be a decent-sized leak there from Slickins. And if we
The
have a
Sakura
look,
will be dying here in the middle.
oh, Tjuvis 50%, but I mean, he's fine with that. And the Sakura does hold his own lane there on Boo Boy with 485 value, but he's not covering in the mid at all, so that is a minus stack there for Boo Boy. This is a nice play there for SSP and Tjuvis. I really like it.
Yeah, losing those early stacks can be problematic. We do have a lot of workers on SSP and Tjuvis here.
Yep. And now Jules is finally favouring SSP and Tjuvis. He's only giving them a 2% edge so far, but an edge is an edge.
Yeah, and that was caused by the cartel early income, but now losing a bit of King HP and losing that Sakura stack also just switches it up a little bit. But that's a brute reset from SSP and 9 workers as well, so he wants to be punishing that Bounty Hunter here. But now Slickin, does he go for the Canopy on 6?
This is going to be a punish. It's not even going to be a small one, I don't think. Oh, perfect.
The Crusher is not tanking. No, the Crusher is
split tank there.
The Crusher is not taking enough. It's only taking 1 Scorpion.
Yeah. I don't know how the Brute is on the Bounty Hunter there, but that's pretty good for SSP that it was. 61% leak there. Slickins, a nice play there from SSP to push hard on the worker button and keep punishing Slickins.
Yeah, but that's going to be another Brute here. That's going to be another Brute on this wave.
Yeah. The Sakura, it looks like, is going to live here, so we don't get the minus stack damage. Oh, it's pretty close. Oh, Sakura! Oh, baby, when you talk like this. Alright, so we've got some income sends all around, so that wasn't the Brute that we expected from SSP. I guess he just needed the income, probably feeling a bit vulnerable here. Himself on wave 6. And we get income from everybody else as well. So Boo Boy with the triple DT, Slickins with the Cannoneer. I mean, Tjuvis is definitely holding here with a Canopy. SSP, he doesn't have good units here, but the send is only income, and he's pretty high value, so let's see what happens there.
Slickin did not push here from the send on wave 5, predicting a resend as we did.
Yeah, he made sure to get that Canopy there. It was a good call, but only receiving a DT, so I mean SSP's completely fine with that.
We got an issue here.
What happened here to SSP? I didn't watch his lane. How is that an 83% leak?
I mean, when you only have magic damage, and the DTs are the send, you don't do damage to the wave.
Well, that'll do it, I guess. That's pretty crushing there for SSP. We've just been talking about how well they were playing and how they were getting a really strong early game head start. But I've got to say that this leak here from SSP, it just brings the game dead even again. Like, Slickins and Boo Boy, if anything, they might be ahead after this.
Yeah, and we want to point out here the 80 cent towards the Sakura on wave 6.
It just means no pressure against Boo Boy on 7, which is his weak wave.
I mean, we talk about no pressure, it's still a 120 cent coming up here.
But only income. Oh, from SSP.
Only income.
Yeah. The SSP going for the double brute, and Slickins is not looking amazing here.
It's not looking amazing. The Canopy is in the middle as well, tanking it too much, but we do have the Millennium here on Booboy.
Boo Boy's going to be completely fine, especially given Tjuvis is only income sending here, so he's really not worried at all. The double brute there from SSP should pretty much guarantee a leak on Slickins, even with 800 value, because he only really has one unit on this wave. The rest of this stuff is kind of dead value.
Yeah, luckily for him, the Canopy is not thinking too much for right now.
Millennium is
looks like
dying.
The one brute only is on the Canopy, the other one is on the Bounty Hunter.
That's a pretty perfect split there for Slickins. That's about as good as he could possibly have hoped for.
Canopy dies though now, so this means the front line is a bit more vulnerable.
Oh, Sakura dies though, even against the income send. 50% leak there on Boo Boy.
I mean, it's the Millennium. The Millennium not able to take the pressure.
Well, there was no split tanking, so the Millennium took the full force of the wave as soon as the melee units died. Sakura didn't tank anything until it was the only unit alive.
But now he has the Millennium to tank on wave 8, so that's pretty good for him. He has a lot of workers to go to his name, but SSP as well.
This game is a roller coaster, dude. It's so back and forth, up and down. Like, SSP and Tjuvis are leading, then Slickins and Boo Boy are leading, then SSP and Tjuvis are leading again, and now it looks like this is finer or ahead, but here's a fairly big send coming out from Slickins and Boo Boy, so we'll have to see if there's any leaks on the side of SSP and Tjuvis, but I don't think there will be. With Tjuvis on insane value here, he should be completely fine.
Yeah, the LOD came in. We do have the Avenger, that's why we see a Lizard Army towards SSP, but does go for the Mudman. But there's no split. I mean, this game has been a question of if the player splits or not. Not something you normally see.
I think they probably just go 10 or something.
That is not okay for SSP.
No, he's going to leak, right? Not a big one, but a leak nonetheless, and only against a triple lizard. He kind of wants to be holding this. I mean, sure, he's got 15 workers, and actually, maybe I spoke too soon. When you look at the worker picture, SSP 5 workers ahead of Slickins there. So the long wave, I mean, sure, he's only leaking to income, but that's a very long wave where he has a 50% worker lead over his counterpart.
Yeah, but it is Slickin. Slickin is overvalued, waiting for the send to push. And the same is from Boo Boy. They are both playing for overvalued, recognizing there is all the salt here on wave 11. And they are playing around it because I think they want to go for 11 or 12 here towards the Avenger and the LOD.
Yeah. The good thing about wave 12 for SSP is that he does have the Hardened Mudman available for 12, so he can't do too badly. But Tjuvis, he's looking pretty damn weak on 12 for sure. I mean, he has Boar in his role, so maybe if he keeps that hidden away to present himself as being
the
weak
wave
on 12.
10 son.
Wave 10, okay, I think that's pretty solid. The Ghost Knight is very, very strong against everything that Boo Boy has on the table.
Yeah, but now I wish to see Slickin going for the KP. Yes, it's a low stack KP, but he needs that second KP to cover.
Doomsday. Doomsday.
Does he recognize the possibility of a Ghost Knight?
I need to point out that this is the second game in a row where Boo Boy has been on 1600 value on wave 10. And it's thanks to the Sakura.
He does not recognize the Ghost Knight.
I mean, he has no other options, right? What does he want to do? Add more Necromancers?
Upper split. Just upper split. And he does not, so this means the Ghost Knight will be targeted by the Doomsday.
Doomsday is still very solid value, but obviously Ghost Knight the perfect unit against that. And this will be a leak on Boo Boy. He is going to lose the Sakura stack. And meanwhile, if we look at Slickins, that's going to be a leak as well. Both players on 1600 value, both players leaking wave 10 with a decent amount of boss health left over. This is going to bring their king down pretty low.
It is indeed going to do that. Not going for the second Kingpin, going for the Bunk instead. Booboy not going for upper split, not recognizing the possibility of a Ghost Knight. I think the Ghost Knight is to be expected after a long save.
Yeah. 28% HP remaining for Slickins and Booboy. SSP and Tjuvis certainly trying their best to give us the game 3 that we all want to see.
Yeah, but Slicken and Booboy going for the weakness here, the obvious weakness here on wave 12.
Yeah.
Hades coming out, and for SSP, that's going to be towards Mudmans here, it looks like.
Got Hero on Tjuvis. I expect to see GA on SSP because it's just so strong on that Sovereign.
So let's see, SSP does recognize it as not with 11, does not harden. But they go for King Ups here. I think SSP is.
I like the King Ups. They know that they need them, so they might as well spend the Mythium now rather than going for Income King next wave.
Yeah, and what I don't like is that Slicken did go for the Kingpin now instead of pushing.
Yeah?
He's 2k value with 2 units that are already good on this wave, and instead of forcing a slow wave, getting that extra Mythium to send and having that extra pressure.
Oh, SSP, he actually went for the Hero instead of the GA, and I really think that's a mistake. I think the Guardian Angel is just so good on a Sovereign. So good, because you get all of the HP advantage when he comes back to life, right? So where Guardian Angel normally resurrects at 1500 HP, the Sovereign resurrects at something like 4k.
Oh, interesting. I didn't know that. I don't normally play Sovereign, as you can say.
In SSP, he's 2165 value, Tjuvis is 2300, but the Sens are enormous, and the Kraken here is obviously just incredible against Tjuvis's lineup. It does still die fairly quickly. He has a decent chunk of pierce damage to help that go down. SSP, though, that's going to be a really big leak on him. He is at least sniping the Ogre, so that helps. Tjuvis, though, he's just holding.
Yeah, okay.
SSP 77%. Tjuvis. Oh, is he holding? No, he's not. He would need one more Thanatos, and it's not coming.
I mean, my biggest question is, what is the Hermit for?
That's a pretty good question. I can't answer that one.
Maybe the only way to counter a healer is a healer?
Alright, so Jules is now pretty sure that SSP and Tjuvis have got this one in the bag, giving them a 68% win rate here in the probability up at the top there, only 1% away from the magic number.
Yeah, we did discuss that 12 looked pretty good, and the fact that they held both pretty well is an indication that it's looking pretty grim, especially since SSP and Tjuvis have the Skilling Legion spell, while Slicken and Booboy did not work out.
Booboy's suicide pushing. They want to try and go for a win on 14, I guess. So he hasn't
14 would be very smart.
He hasn't built anything here on 13. He just wants to try and end the game on 14.
I mean, he has a Doomsday, and that might just indicate to the opponent to not send on 14, and they might go for a 15. And so undercutting might be their play.
It might be their only chance, honestly, because if they just try to trade evenly with Tjuvis and SSP, well, they're so far ahead. It's just a losing play. Sakura.
No.
Ooh, he goes down.
And it is a hope, but a very close one. And we do have the sense while SSP and Tjuvis are saving, but the values. The values speak for themselves.
I mean, it's fair to say that this wave is about to determine the fate of the game. So, if this play works, if the undercut works from Slickins and Booboy, then, you know, they either win here or at least give themselves a chance. But if SSP and Tjuvis just hold this all-in play here from Slickins and Booboy, the game's as good as done, right?
I think we will see a hold here from SSP. Tjuvis might leak, but yeah, and we have the Harden. That's a SSP holding for sure here.
Yeah, in which case the game's pretty much as good as over.
There's a 520 cent towards SSP, but
He's sniping the Sens pretty quickly, but yeah, like I said, he doesn't have the Guardian Angel. The hero is just not the same power level on a Sovereign. Especially not when it has some kind of heal, Lifesteal or Ocean Templar or something like this. I think Guardian Angel is just so good on that unit.
They do get the shutdown, 50 gold, but the leaks are just, I mean, just a 4-eye on SSP.
Leaking a 4 eyes and nothing else, yeah. This was an all-in play from Slickins and Booboy, and they needed to just win here. You know, they needed to either one hit them or at least get so much gold that it brings them back into the game.
Yeah,
and a minor leak like this is just not enough for Slickins and Booboy.
Yeah, we have here like the resends for Slickin and Booboy going for income, probably going for some king. But at this point, when you're 28% remaining, I mean, yes, you have king attacks, but you just hope that there's only like one boss with no shamans, which is almost impossible for them to get.
The send is enormous.
I mean, shamans, ghost knight, 4 eyes.
Yeah. And we do have the double Doomsday there on Booboy, which is obviously good damage, good tank. And Sakura is dishing out some decent damage at this point with 9 stacks, but against an 840 send, he is ignoring the Ghost Knight, which is very, very good there for Booboy. It's not enough.
It is decent.
It's not enough.
It is decent. Now it is on it, and it's just, trying to kill me now.
But Slickins is also leaking very heavily as well. This is over.
And this is game 3.
Well, this is what we asked for at the start. We did maybe jinx the game a little bit there for Slickins and Booboy because we were wishing that SSP and Tjuvis would.
That's what you wanted.
Yeah, okay, I'll take the flak for that one. We can blame me for this one. But SSP and Tjuvis, they played this one very well. It was a hell of a roller coaster, like we say. Like, if you just kind of have a little look at the graph there, which, by the way, it looks like Auto Attack have added some shadow effects too. Very nice, very nice. But you can see it just going up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down throughout the early game. Before SSP and Tjuvis took a really commanding lead, kind of from wave 7 onwards, and then this massive send on 10. Slickins and Booboy both leaking wave 10 while having 1600 value each is insane. Like, you don't leak wave 10 when you've got 1600 value. You can't afford to. Like, it's you've really gone all in on holding, and then you still manage to leak and go down to 27% HP. The game's kind of as good as done already on wave 10. Booboy and Slickins, they still played to their outs, and I really like this suicide push here from Booboy into a 14 undercut. I mean, it didn't work, but that doesn't mean it's a bad play, right? Like, you can't always be results based. I think they knew that they were in a really tricky spot, and they went for their one out, right? Like, if SSP and Tjuvis had maybe played a bit more greedy there, you know, if SSP doesn't harden, if maybe they pushed a couple of extra workers and have a bit less value on 14, who knows? Maybe it works. Maybe Slickins and Booboy managed to sneak a win from the jaws of defeat there, but it wasn't to be. And as we saw there, wave 15 was all she wrote. Slickins and Booboy losing there, but pretty valiant effort at least to try and claw their way back in. I like that they saw their one chance and they went for it.
Yeah, so seeing their one chance is crucial. But there's two things here that needed to happen on wave 10. It's the second kingpin from Slickin and the upper split from Booboy. If one of them do one of those, it does mean that at least there is maybe just a sand going through, not the boss, and so they take reduced damage. So it's kind of a misplay here on 10. Yes, they recognize a 14, but then on 10 they could have been a little bit better, in better position.
I'm also seeing from Twitch chat, by the way, that the Avenger and Sovereign was fixed with Guardian Angel, so it now revives at 1500, regardless of how much mana it has. So thank you, Twitch chat, for setting me right. I didn't know that. Good job they fixed it, and then probably good job SSP going for that hero instead of the no longer bugged Guardian Angel. So I take it back.
Alright. And while we wait for you to join,
Imagine waiting for me. I'm always here early, dude. I'm waiting for you guys. I'm waiting for everybody else. The stream can see. I've been here the whole time.
Yeah. But yeah, while the game starts here, some results. We did have Drashia and Lucy going through. We do have X-Crash going through. WWS 8LPPD going through as well.
Oh, nice. It's at times like this I have to ask myself WWS8 LPPD.
Yeah.
It's the age-old question.
Yeah, it's probably facing X-Crash.
Oh, guys. We have game number 3 on our hands. It's a 1-1 tied series between This Is Finer and No Workee, No Problem.
I mean, the one who's gonna take it would require to face Abrasiert. I'm not sure how they pronounce it in German. Maybe you have a different.
Just shout it. Whenever you're trying to speak German, you just need to shout it. It doesn't matter how you pronounce it. As long as you sound angry, it's going to sound pretty authentic German.
Okay.
Abrasiert!
But yeah, the winner of this match will require to face Abrasiert.
Angrier, Shadow, angrier, come on.
Hey, come on. One step at a time.
just think of every time you got bad RNG and leaked an ogre on 1% HP. Abrasiert! Oh, we have SSP, by the way. Cash out again. He has Flower in his role, but he's opting not to go for it. I think Flower's 6 workers is just so nice with cash out, right? It's just perfect.
That is a mistake from SSP.
Yeah.
That is definitely a mistake from SSP here. Flower into Chain Fist. If he knows a position, holds the Snell on wave 2. And Tjuvis is the only one not sending, yet again.
Maybe it'll pay off, because he will be able to DT Slickins if he wants to.
Is he going to be able to? I mean, it has to be after income.
No, he's going to go for a double snail. Double snail, not quite the same power level as the DT. Oh, but it's irrelevant anyway, because Slickins is just going for the... Oh, he's not. He's changing his mind.
I mean, I would have loved to see that win hug. It would have been a nice adaptation, but he wants to go still for that Fire Lord.
Well, this against 2 snails, it might still be enough with 60 added there.
I mean, that's going to hold.
It has to, right?
Yeah,
205 value, it has to.
Yeah, and you have a split tank here, so it's good.
His protons are all dying, though.
Yeah, it's no problem. It's just the HP that is important here. I think.
I think it's going to be close, but I think you're right. It's no leak. Unless.
Maybe.
Unless. No, he's fine, right? Not even close. Never in doubt.
Yeah, I mean, I was certain, of course. I always do those kind of splits. I already knew.
And he still gets his Fire Lord out, even after the 40 send. Yeah, wants to send on wave 7, yeah.
Yeah, sorry, misclick.
I mean, I think you do want to send on wave 7 there. There's a pretty good call there for the cast. Tjuvis, when he sees the Fire Lord of Slickins, he knows that wave 7's a pretty good call. Problem is that Boo Boy is amazing on wave 7.
Yeah, I mean, he has the Crusher with the Nightmare now, so this means that he's pretty safe on wave 5. Can still be a little bit tricky though. SSP able to get the Oathbreaker with the cat, so no problem here for holding a 20 cent. And yet again, a 7 worker push here on wave 4 for Tjuvis and Boo Boy.
Pretty solid.
It has been the competition all this time against at least 2 players to who can press that U button more often than the other.
And it looks like they have been shifting up the player order as well, right? So now Tjuvis is sending into Slickins, and I
Yeah,
think that
it
is the way
is.
that Booboy and Slickins like it, right? They want Slickins to be the carry player, so they want him to receive the
I
more
mean,
income heavy sends from Tjuvis, while Booboy thinks he can handle the star from SSP.
yeah, and that's what it was on game one. On game one, it was Tjuvis sending to Slicken, and Slicken and Booboy managed to win. But let's see here. Let's see. It is income sends here all around, except from Slicken going to try and break SSP here on wave 5.
Do we think anyone is going to leak this?
I mean,
SSP, he
the
has
Brood,
the Oathbreaker and 7
yes,
stat cap as well.
it's because the boss goes on the Neko, and so the Brute is on the Oathbreaker, and that's the old difference. And that might be the...
Oh, oh, oh! The Fire Watcher! It survives! Tjuvis! What a player. That just gives him the free hold there. The Fire Watcher is so much added damage.
Yeah, and we do have SSP still yet to kill the Brute, but the cat should still be able
Yeah,
to...
he's totally
kill.
fine there on SSP. Like, the Oathbreaker is just the perfect unit on wave 5, and the 7 stat cat is really not bad either. It gets quite a lot of heal from killing the mini scorpions.
The Snell army not enough to kill the Nightmare here. Booboy not pushing here that 90 gold.
He's shifting for
One,
the bunk, right?
it should be, right? And you want the bunk somewhere around here in an upper split.
Yeah. He will still need to income send on wave 7 if he wants to get that bunk out. Even then,
I
he
think he
might
doesn't
end up
mind.
having to sell something.
I don't think he minds income sending, but this has been the trend all series long. All series long is that they are not afraid to income send when they are required to.
Yeah, and Slickins, he knows he's weak on 7. He's going to have that canopy up and running, which gives him a very solid unit. Tjuvis, he can send a couple of brutes versus the canopy, but that's terrible versus the Firelord. Maybe he just has to go for a lizard spam.
Yeah, lizard spam is not that
He goes for the
bad.
brutes anyway. I mean, they're good against the canopy, definitely, for sure. But they're just absolute garbage against the Firelord. So I'd be kind of interested to see how this one plays out.
The Fire Lord is not really doing much on this wave, except if there's a Brute on it. So we're gonna see.
What do you think about the bunk being placed directly on the Butcher there? Isn't it just going to end up being a backline bunk?
I would have liked it if it was on the side here.
Yeah, yeah. Or just not on the Butcher at all, but way up here.
I mean, I like it on the Butcher. On the Butcher is quite fine. It's just wanted to be tanking the split.
Maybe Blueboy knows something that we don't, because it is tanking not just the Cannoneer, but also some of the wave.
I mean, yes.
I'm kind of surprised by that.
But it's just wasted for... It is still tanking the Cannoneer if it is at the position I said here.
Easy hold for Slickins there. The Brute's just absolute garbage against a Firelord.
I mean, it was one on the Fire. That's exactly what I said. Is like,
yeah, it's just doing nothing, right? But he basically
it's bad if
negates
it's on the
one of
Fire
the
Lord.
Brutes. Yeah.
Yeah. But if it's not on the Fire Lord, then it's pretty good. But it's just the fact that it was on the Fire Lord that really was problematic.
Yeah.
But after all this, after all of those sends, Jules says it's a 50-50.
Ah. So we could have just skipped the first 7 waves and fast forwarded straight to 8.
Yeah.
Well, this is pretty juicy. Like, it's game number 3. It is the deciding match. It's dead even on wave 8. This is about as good as we could have asked for from a round 1 game. This is very, very even between the two teams.
We need to remember, Booboy has Cartel here, so in an even game, Booboy is struggling right now.
But he is 2 workers ahead of everybody else as well.
Is it enough to justify his Cartel though? That's the big question we need to ask ourselves.
2 workers, I mean, it's relative, right? Because the game is quite starved. So 2 workers is actually 20%.
But
And
look at this.
I think it probably is worth a 20% advantage. I think it is worth that. Like if everyone was on 13 and he was on 15, maybe it's a different story. But 20%, I'm going to say that's worth.
Yeah, I'm gonna point out something here. No shifts on SSP and no shifts on Tjuvis. And wave 10 is coming. That is going to be problematic for Tjuvis and SSP, especially with the Mythium saved up by Booboy and Slicken. And I think it will be a 10 stun.
Wave 10 is coming, but there's Venture on the table, which makes it slightly less appealing. I mean, it's still definitely worth if you can get big leaks. And they do send, but they're not going for those big leaks. Everyone going for income, apart from Slickins.
But why?
Nani? So, I mean, this is just free ventures all around. The only
No,
person
but
who's in danger here is SSP, and he is in a lot of danger. Like, this Ogre's going to absolutely destroy him. All of his units are bad on 10. This is good damage, but he's just going to get rolled over by the boss, by the Ogre. SSP's leaking hard.
I think this is just a misplay here from Booboy. Like, just go for the leak here on Tjuvis. He has no frontline for his quota.
He could have sent like Mimic, right?
Yeah.
Would have been pretty solid against both the Fire Lord and the
He does not know about the
Coiler.
Fire Lord. He does not know about the Fire Lord. And no Doppel on Booboy as well. That's important to note.
So SSP leaking 59, Tjuvis leaking 64, Slickins leaking 38, and Booboy, he's going to go for a bit of a leak here as well.
I mean, the DPS bunk. It's a DPS bunk.
DPS bunk strikes back, 31% there, so all 4 players leaking. There is a bit of an edge going over to Booboy and Slickins there.
Yeah, that's the Ogre.
Yeah, and a lot more king damage actually on the side of SSP and Tjuvis. They're now down to 53%. But Jewel still thinks it's pretty close.
Venture, everybody. Wait, Booboy. What? Booboy, what are you doing? What?
I like this play. I like this play a lot. So Booboy and Slickins, right? This is what's going on in their mind. They've anticipated that sending on 10 is going to give SSP and Tjuvis Venture. So what they've decided to do is rather than Venture themselves, they've pushed full on the worker button, taken Pawn Shop, pushed even more, and they're going to try and undercut here with a big wave 12 send into the Venture play of SSP and Tjuvis. I really like this play from Slickins and Booboy. I think this is a very clever play.
I understand your point. However, the Pawn Shop is 1 more worker in the case of Booboy and 1 more in the case of Slicken. They can still push and still go for the Venture play, allowing them to scale a bit more.
But if they take the Venture play, it's not just 1 more worker, it's 3 more workers, right?
Yeah, it's true.
Because Venture's minus 105.
But you're looking at your opponent and they have 11 workers.
But here's the sense. So, I mean, let's see if it pays off. I think this is a really clever play. We're about to see. Like, we can't just do results-based thinking. Yeah. Let's see if it works.
It is a good idea. I don't question that. It's just I think they could have done the same thing while being with Venture because of the strength of Booboy on wave 12.
They would have so much less Mythium though. They would 3 workers less each.
I mean, we're talking possibly with 30 Mythium difference. Does it really make that much for Booboy and Slicken?
Guess we're about to find out. SSP and Tjuvis, they do smell it coming though, so they go for some king upgrades.
Yeah, the Harden comes from Tjuvis. The death cap is on for SSP. But there is the Mole Hermit.
Tjuvis' tank line crumbling. Deep Coiler is basically paper as soon as the wave looks at it. This is going to be a pretty big leak for Mr. Tjuvis. SSP, of course, did get the death cap out, which is very good on wave 12, but still going for a leak.
It's not going to be lethal, but a lot of damage.
A lot of damage. It might be lethal, you know. There's a full HP Ogre there.
It is a full HP Ogre, but most of the wave is pretty low and it's immolation.
It's gonna be close. Oh, Ogre down. Okay, it's not lethal. They're still in the game. but they're all the way down to 12% HP.
Still in the game is a big assumption here, because look at the workers. Look at the workers, look at the values.
Yeah, and they've had that worker lead since wave 11, right? SSP and Tjuvis were 11 workers on 11, and Booboy was already on 21 workers. So sure, they get the venture gold in here, but I think that aggressive undercut play from Booboy and Slickins actually gave them more value than the venture did for SSP and Tjuvis. I think no Workee, no problem. They've given the lie to their own team name. They've decided, yes, Workee.
The thing I want to point out is that maybe they could have won on 12 if Booboy fully sent here to go for a big leak on Tjuvis.
Maybe.
He still leaked, but he could have went for something else than just income. But, I mean, that's what I don't like here from Booboy. He does not have an upper split, meaning that the bunk will never tank before his... And nobody's sending 14, and we do have equal Meteor on Booboy and SSP Tjuvis.
It's going to be a 15 send, right? Because you see Doppel and Haven with lifesteal, you go
no,
15.
That is no. It's actually not the play.
It's actually fine. He has pawn shop. I think
that is true.
I think it's kind of an okay play. He hardens here, and then if they don't send 14, they're definitely going to send 15 into the de-hardened golem. But Booboy's going to sell it, and he's going to get a Phoenix.
And we have the Canopy army from Slicken. They are going for King Ups here, just attack. And I think the attack is perfectly fine here because it covers the wave 15 also that you want.
And they're going for the send here as well, so they King Upped and will still full send.
And that is a very good decision here because SSP is leaking everything on 15.
Yeah.
The big problem is leaking Tjuvis with
but
the
it's a big send though. Now the thing is, Booboy, he actually needs to add a lizard, I think, because this coiler without a lizard, I'm pretty sure the coiler's going to be on the shaman. And yeah, look, so Booboy, he sells that de-hardened.
He sells the DPS
Haven everything too. Apart from he sells pretty much his entire board and turns it into Green Devils. Alright, so 560 and 540 against Booboy and Slickins. Slightly smaller sends, of course, against SSP and Tjuvis, but like you say, SSP pretty weak here, and the double Ghost Knight just perfect against his build. The Phoenix is going down on Tjuvis, so I think he might end up leaking as well.
Yeah, I mean, he was the hardest to leak, but once the Phoenix is down, it's going to be problematic, but...
I think this is it. So Booboy and Slickins, they both leak, and that looks like it's probably lethal for them, but...
I mean, is it time? Is it time? The time is crucial here, and
there's
looks like
17%, there's about a 3-second delay. This is going to be close, but SSP and Tjuvis, they are out of it. Booboy and Slickins take the series.
No Workee, no problem.
No Workee, no problem indeed. But then, surely if that was the case, they wouldn't have gone for this hyper-aggressive full push pawn shot play here on 11.
So it looks like it is not finer. It is not finer.
This was not finer whatsoever. SSP and Tjuvis, they're out of the tournament here, but they fought very, very well. I'm glad that we chose this series to cast in round one because this was a super close matchup between two very evenly matched teams, it seems like.
Yes, yes. And, okay, now I'm gonna let you talk about the game. I'm gonna check what are the games next.
Awesome. So this game really was a story of coming down to clever calls being made by Booboy and Slickins. So we just flick through some of the waves here. We see nothing particularly special going on in the early game. Everyone just pretty much income sending, making sure they get their key units out on the waves they need to get them out. Slickins holding wave 7 there. The double brute I did not like against Slickins at all. I think Tjuvis might as well have just gone for 3 lizards and been... He probably still holds anyway, but at least you're not missing out on the income then. And if we keep going, this 10 send from everybody, with SSP and Tjuvis taking a lot of damage there thanks to the Ogre from Slickins, this was probably the first major turning point in the game. So this gave a really good edge over to Booboy and Slickins, but the real key moment in this game was SSP and Tjuvis taking the Venture because of that wave 10 send, Booboy and Slickins baiting that as hard as they can, pawn shop, full push workers, go for the kill on 12, and look at this, 71%, 80% leaks, King going all the way down to 12% HP, Booboy and Slickins getting a ton of gold from that play, and that just gave them the win there on 15 ultimately. So really, really solid play there from Booboy and Slickins. Really good to watch. Really, really good to watch. Congratulations to them. They do come out on top, and they will be advancing to round 2 of the tournament.
So, unfortunately, we don't have four different streams to cast all the 4 games that come through, because I'm just gonna tell you what are the matchups.
Go ahead.
So we do have Widersen and King Dance against Tjuvis and SSP. Wait, no, that's not correct. That's the wrong one. It's against Slickin and Booboy.
And we have... I think we should go for X Crash versus WWS 8LPPD.
Yeah. You're there. There you go. Sorry. My paper got mixed up. So okay. Yeah, and so yeah, there's X Crash, which have been winning a lot, and I've been talking to some other players on Toyken's channel, because it is the official channel, of course, the unofficial official Discord, and I've said that if there's one team in the tournament that can pose some problem to Ash and X God, I would say it's Julian and Green.
Yeah. I mean, Ashton and X-God, it's fair to say, have just been on an absolute murder spree lately. They've won 3 out of the 4 Nova Cups. So you've got to say they're heavily favoured to take this match, right? And Green Spirit and Burn, they're my usual duo partners. So it's fair to say that they're absolutely terrible. And I've got to give this one to X-God and Ashton. Easy win, 2-0, no problems.
So this will be the matchup we'll look into, but just to give you an idea on what's going on the other side of the bracket, we will have Aviator and Bonnie against Toyken and Shay, while the final quarterfinal will be Drashir and Lucy against Piney and Othma.
Oh, nice. All right.
So,
go ahead.
4 great games. 4 great games.
4 really good. Yeah. There's some pretty solid matchups going on this time around. This is an exciting cup. Anyway, it looks like we're still waiting for Ashton, so I'm going to use that as an excuse to go and refill my water, try and keep my voice alive for the next 3-game series, I'm sure it's going to be. So, guys, I will leave you on the schedule screen. Shadow, you're welcome to keep talking, but I've